아, 빠라빰빰. 오, 쏙가 쏙가 날아가. 와우. 와우. 그렇군. 오늘은 타워 탱글 나겠다. 타워 탱글 하다가 뭐지? 좋았어. 오늘은 아예 이걸 끝낼까? 그것도 하나의 방법인데. 오늘 아예 이걸 끝내는 방법으로 생각해도 나쁘지 않다. 소리만 좀 확인하고 봅시다. 오케이, 이걸 하기 전에 화장실 잠깐 갔다 오고 하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 한번 시작합시다. 안녕하세요, 가메입니다. 자, 오늘도 탱글타워 이어서 해보도록 할게요. 지난번에 이제 그 인터뷰를 다 했고, 제 기억이 맞으면 저희가 모든 방을 돌아다니고 인터뷰를 하고 단서를 모았었죠. 그래서 지금 이 친구처럼 이 마지막 이것까지 도달을 해야 되는데, 지금 단서들을 보면 아직 4개를 더 못 찾은 상황이고요. 진술에 도달하지 못한다. 그러면
I'm as confused as you are. Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue. Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the Remington family originally. Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the Fellow family?
The Fellows and the Pointers have both come to claim a certain degree of ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, is less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it
혹시
is
플로라가
rather.
램턴 가문의 사람이야. 가게도가 어떻게 생겼었지? 일단 다 말을 걸어보자.
Ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall. It would have been a beautiful painting. It's rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange,
Modern painting?
aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at.
즉 저게 칼이 아닐 수도 있다.
It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes, so we shall. Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
What is it?
We don't know. We were really hoping you would.
My friends, shed your hope and let it fall free like sandbags from a hot air balloon.
That's the most depressing idiom I've ever heard.
Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people. I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but
커플 오브
it
이어스를
didn't take
2년
me long
정도라고
to
해석했다고.
master it, as
몇 년
you can
됐다라고
see.
해석하지 차라리.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed. Yes. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course, I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Where did you find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd.
이상하다. 왜?
Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they? Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of
Fiona.
expertise. That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
It's.
I've never seen that before. Looks
안녕하세요.
valuable. Now this is still in very good condition. Apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence.
오늘은 하이파이로 시하지
Cunning.
말고 이거 최대한 많이 가볼까 생각하고 있습니다.
Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to. I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy instead? Goodness me! That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
The
화분은 다
statue was up
피츠한테
in the
물어보라
rooftop
하네요.
garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable. Is that a clue? Really?
It might be.
그러면 일단 물을 수 있는 거 다 물어봤고 아직 이건 잠겨 있고.
Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman. Oh, yes. Been married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of three. Always something of a lone wolf.
아직 안 했을 거예요.
Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Other...
Human?
Well, yes, other people,
입술이 다
you know.
귀여운데 사람이 아닌 존재도 있나?
You're the one currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius. You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
오.
Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine, supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the Golden Beetle.
Oh.
Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle,
없어?
How do you know?
because I would have heard of it.
당당하고 이렇게 말하면 할 말이 없긴 하지.
Fitz, I don't trust him. He's slippery.
그래?
Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you two have an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe. We still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
와,
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival.
라이벌만으로 두 명이야?
Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger. Always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile.
오?
Poppy's a good friend to my daughter, always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different, like how?
Poppy is, she's
아,
quite
근데 데이터가 너무 많이 들어온다.
introspective, good with feelings. Fiona,
내가 잘 연결할 수
not
있을까?
so much. Still,
그리고 한 명당
Poppy always
10분은
seems to be
걸리는데
sulking
앞으로
about
1시간은
something.
탐문하고 다녀야
Heavy,
되나?
heavy price of emotional intelligence.
일단 이렇게 했고 아직 안 열린 거로 봐서는 이것저것 더 해봐야겠죠? 그리고 아직 안 풀었다는 거 이거 푼 거 안 푼 거 단서 얻은 거 안 얻은 거 티 나는 거 없나요? 혹시? 체크돼 있다거나? 저거로 검색해보면 나오나?
Not the kind of...
It's cool. Looks like old mine.
It's a little
I
glass.
think it's
Come
a
again.
See the leaves? Might have been for keeping insects.
A pillow.
It's
with...
a
Yeah,
cushion.
but that doesn't alliterate. Even though someone's been tracking in... Do you think
I don't
no
know.
windows either? It's
I think it looks,
fine.
could also be a shark.
Do you
I don't
no
know.
windows either? Freya, they must not... It's a little...
The cat.
이거구나 퍼즐이.
They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of...
종이를 먼저 맞추죠. 이런 건. 자, 그럼 여기서 이건 다 맞췄잖아. 그럼 여기서 뭘 어떻게 해야 돼? 이거 바꿀 수 있다. 이거 화살표는 뭘까요? 이게 뭘 의미하는 거지? 분홍색 무언가 하나. 무슨 뭐 이거 그냥 높이를 맞추라는 건 아닌 것 같은데. 생각이란 걸 해볼게요. 잠깐. 하나 둘셋넷 다섯 여섯 하나 둘 7번 1번 2번 짧고 긴 거 하나 둘셋넷 다섯 여섯 일곱 이거 색깔로 하나씩 표현해줬고 뭔가 길이 형태로 하나씩 표현해줬고 짧은 거 얘는 얘네 두 개 여기 있고 근데 여기 초록색이 이미 있으니까 그냥 순서대로 놓으면 되는 것 같은데? 일단 얘 놓을게요 여기다가 그 다음에 긴거 그러고 나서 초록색 파란색 그러고 나서 얘하고 얘인데? 어? 이러면 안 되는데 이거 짧은 거 이거 그 다음에 놔야 될 게 파란색 긴 거? 순서를 알 수가 없네. 순서를 내가 어떻게 알아야 되지? 1번의 기준이 뭐야? 1번의 기준을 알아야지 내가 풀 수 있을 것 같은데. 이 1이 나오는 기준이 뭘까? 힌트 없나?
Nothing.
Did you find a hint? It looks like a ripped up jigsaw.
그러니까 나
That
그래서
was
Each brush has various characteristics.
길이 분 모양
Heights,
물감
the information we need is on the
손잡이색.
paper. Once it's been rearranged.
제가 손잡이색이 그러면은 이거를 예를 들어 보면 이거일 거잖아요. 그러면은 짧은 거 분홍색, 초록색일 거야, 그지? 짧은 분홍, 초록이야 이게. 근데 번호는 어떻게 알지?
still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each characteristic.
그래, 그러겠지. 내가 궁금한 건 그래서 이 1번의 기준이 뭘까? 1번인 걸 내가 어떻게 아는 거야? 서순을 어떻게 알지? 여기서 서순을 유추해낼 수 있나? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯 개죠. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯. 그러면은 이 순대로 순서를 어떻게 해야 될까? 이건가? 아니면은 왼쪽부터 오른쪽? 그럼 이거 1, 2번을 누가 정해줘? 이거 1, 2번을 정해줘야 되잖아. 이거 1, 2번을 누가 정해주냐가 내가 궁금한 거지.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each
내가 뭐 잘못했나? 이건 맞지 않아요? 왼쪽에?
Still locked.
So, the paper there's a couple of brushes with each characteristic.
내가 뭘 잘못했지? 뭐지? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6을 모르겠어.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each characteristic.
그러니까 정답은 나도 알겠다고. 1번이 뭐고 3번이 뭔데? 이게 6번이야? 이거라고? 이게 1이야 그럼? 1, 2 3이 그럼 이거야 뭐야? 아니 그러니까 이게 나는 지금 헷갈리는 게 그러니까 이게 1번이라고 쳐요. 그러면은 맨 왼쪽이 주황색 나면서 가장 짧은 거 이거면 이게 이거잖아. 이게 지금 막대 색깔이고 이게 붓 위쪽에 있는 물감 색깔이고 이게 그 모양을 나타내는 거잖아요. 길이를 나타내는 거잖아. 한 줄 한 줄이 전체가 그거라는 건가 설마? 그러면은 이건 이걸 거고 초록색이면 이거나 이거 둘 중 하나라는 건데 그 와중에 이거고 이거니까 무조건 얘는 여기 있어야 될 거 이거나 여기 파란색이니까 이거고 이거면 이거나 이거 둘 중 하나일 건데 이거니까 이거고 제일 긴 거 이거고 하면
I
이렇게
did it. What do I win?
나 이거 조각을 너무 신경 썼어.
Not bad.
저는 이거 조각 하나하나가 하나의 붓인 줄 알았어요. 한 줄로 생각을 안 하고.
What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
이거 합쳐지지 않나? 이거 합쳐지겠다. 기다려봐.
There's something.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
잠깐만 이거 사진 합쳐지겠다. 잠시만. 이거 어떻게 못 합치나? 그러니까 너무 복잡하게 생각했어.
Fitz and I were up in the moonlight.
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah,
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable. I don't know what that is.
너가 아니냐 이거?
Weird, considering we found it
너
hidden
같은데?
in the room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me.
싫은데?
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
You used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors. Let's take a closer look at this.
이게 파피일 거야. 이거 진짜 야 이거 잘 만들었다 이거 아이디어.
The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette
잘
tape
만들지 않았어요?
used by Poppy in this
단서
whole
하나에
photo.
그 부위를 내가 고르고
That is not
사전에
me.
Yeah,
부위를
it is.
골라서 이거 해서
I'll prove
하는 거야.
it.
와 쩐다. 이거 되게 쩌는데? 와 게임 잘 만들었다잉.
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up? And then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it.
난
Makes this
뽀삐가
whole thing
죽였다고
seem
생각하진 않아.
kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on the reason.
The reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
야 낚은
It
거였어.
used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
그니까
I have no idea.
꽤 많은 것들이 금이 간단
There's
말이지.
something about that diary we found in something.
Let's ask her about it.
아 이제 알아서 이렇게 날 이끌어 주네요 게임이. 난 가서 하나하나 다 말 걸어야 될 줄 알았는데.
Is this your diary, Fifi? We found it in your bedroom.
Of course it is mine. Ridiculous question.
Why is it locked up like that?
You seriously require an explanation.
It's my diary.
Very well. A fairly common concept, the so-called secret diary, is favored in particular
좋다.
by girls between the ages of 10 and
So, there are secrets written in here?
나 같은 길치한테는 아주
this
좋은
particular
게임이에요.
diary is unused.
It doesn't look
나는
unused.
중간부터 어디로 가야 될지 헤매거든. 추리는 해볼 수 있어도. 일기장이 아니라 아니야 일기장이야.
It's somebody else's diary.
How could you
2번
arrive
아니면
at that
3번인 것
conclusion?
같은데.
It is kept in my bedroom. It is mine.
We need a clue to compare with the diary. Something to prove who the original owner was.
책갈피 아닐까?
That's not it.
아 그래? 미안합니다. 이렇게 단언하실 줄은. 히미츠는
That's not it.
그럴 것 같긴 했어. 낼 것 같긴 했는데 부러진 종이?
That's not it.
그래? 혹시 사진에 있나?
Let's take a closer look at this.
이거 아니야?
This blue book is the same thing as the secret diary, which
맞게
proves it
들었구나.
belonged to Freya.
You were hiding Freya's diary in your room, and you kept it locked, too.
Why would I do either of these things?
왜냐면 너는 피오라를 아주 존경하고 프레야를.
Fifi didn't want anyone to see
아니야,
Freya
이거 아니다.
within Freya's
미안하다.
diary. Almost. Maybe just. Fifi didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary.
Is this true, Fifi?
I know Freya was your friend, but if you're trying to hide something,
You did not know Freya, so this might be difficult to understand. She did her own thing, in her own way.
뭘
By
했길래?
concealing Freya's written accounts, it is simply my intention to preserve her innocence.
즉 이번 단서는 나오면은 프레야가
might be easier
의심받는다는
if you
거네.
just let us read the diary, Fifi.
Very well. I will open it. However, as you read it, please remember, Freya was the most kind and the most wise person I have ever known.
Wise.
All right, Fifi unlocked the diary.
Wise does not mean she's right or she's good. We have to know that. There's a lot of wise people.
Finally. What's in there?
그게 다시 보인다. 이번에는 실제로 나인가? 내가 그렇게 만든 건가? 그 그림을 찢어버려야 할 것 같다. 영혼 전달자는 성공이다. 장한 녀석. 이제 내게는 두 개가 있다. 둘이 더 필요해. 중국으로 가는 길을 찾았다. 하프랑 비교하면 굉장히 단순했다. 그들은 모두 봤다. 다섯 모두 눈을 모두 까맣게 떴다. 하지만 모든 것에도 불구하고 나는 아직 지켜야 할 약속이 있다. 나는 최선을 다할 것이다. 그녀에게는 동반자가 있어도 좋을 것이다. 이거 주술인가? 무언가가 보였어. 이번에는 실제야. 그럼 전에는 환상 같았다는 건데. 그리고 나인가 내가 그렇게 만든 건가라는 거는 이게 뭔가 변화가 일으켜진 원인이 본인 때문인가? 라는 거. 그리고 그 그림을 찢어버려야 할 것 같다라는 거는 이 어떠한 그림인데 아마 얘 방에 있던 초상을 얘기하는 거겠죠? 그리고 영혼 전달자는 성공이다. 장한 녀석. 이제 내게는 두 개가 있다. 둘이 더 필요해. 이 무언가를 뭔가 하기 위해 이걸 했을 거고 영혼 전달자가 성공이라고 했다. 이거는 거의 약간 환상이나 망상 같은 개념에 가까운 것 같은데 이쪽 세계에 뭔가 판타지가 있는 게 아닌 이상 아니면 아까 말했던 희한한 식물들의 얘기일 수도 있죠. 우린 내게는 두 개가 둘이 더 필요하다고 그랬는데 우리는 알고 있죠. 두 개의 이상한 식물이 있었다는 거. 그게 식물일 수도 있어요. 두 개가 되는 것들이 또 뭐가 있는지 생각해봐야 되고 중앙으로 가는 길을 찾았다. 하프랑 비교하면 굉장히 단순했다. 이거는 아마 이 탱글타워에 숨겨진 길이나 뭔가 스테이지가 존재하는 거 아니었을까? 그들을 모두 봤다. 다섯 모두 눈을 모두 까맣게 그었다. 모두 봤다. 이 다섯은 뭘까요? 혹시 레밍턴 일가에 무슨 내용이 있었을까? 눈을 모두 까맣게 그었다. 이건 무슨 뜻일까? 하지만 모든 것에도 불구하고 난 아직 지켜야 할 약속이 있다. 무언가를 했는데 그럼에도 불구하고 아직 약속이 다 지켜지진 않았다. 나는 최선을 다할 것이다. 그녀에게는 동반자가 있어도 좋을 것이다. 나는 최선을 다할 거야. 뭔가를 하는데 최선을 다할 건데 동반자가 있어도 좋겠다. 무언가 일을 획책하고 있었고 이건 사람을 해치는 일일 수도 있겠는데. 뭐였을까요?
Freya was definitely up to something.
뭔가 있어.
Something to do with the statue in the garden, I think.
Maybe we should go back.
가봅시다. 하프 풀었다고 했죠.
I'm still not
Should we take another look?
이 풀은 아직 풀
Let's
수 없다. 단서가
come back.
모자라다는 거죠.
This wasn't here.
What is
It's a little wooden tool.
There's a
What does
note.
it say? Grimoire?
제 새로운 친구입니다. 음악을 좋아하죠. 단서로 그림을 그죠. 불에게 행운을 빈다? 지금까지 나온 내용을 다 종합해보면 정말 이런 상상을 하고 싶진 않지만 혹시 이 작품도 우리 영적 세계와 연결이 돼 있나요? 우리 역전재판 때 느꼈죠. 추리물이 영적 세계나 주술을 만나면 아주 개판 5분 전이 되는데 방금 전 프레야가 남겼던 일기장에 적혀있던 내용과 지금 이 현상을 따지면 둘 중 하나입니다. 우리 프레야란 친구는 상당한 사건이 이렇게 벌어질 걸 예상을 해서 심지어 그레오모가 여기로 오는 것도 다 세팅을 해놔서 그레오모가 여기로 오게 만들었고 조수가 같이 올 거 알고 있었기 때문에 이게 여기에 떨어지도록 미리 세팅을 해놓은 건가? 라는 의심도 되는데 그게 아니라면 이쪽은 아까 영혼 전달자란 단어가 있었듯이 영매 같은 무슨 영적 능력이 존재하는 세계고 프레야는 그 전설이나 혹은 저주나 영혼을 쫓았으며 그 과정에서 죽었지만 영혼의 상태로 지금 이 모든 상황을 지켜보고 있는 자 봅시다. 서순만 보면 됩니다. 서순만 보는 것도 어려운데?
What do you think?
How?
Why don't we check the handwriting?
Good idea.
Well,
It's a perfect.
we have a ghost hole.
Let's-
What about the
Maybe we can put it to some.
끝나지 않는 사건. 챕터인가봐. 챕터 끊고 가나봐. 그럼 저도 여기서 한번 끊고 가겠습니다. 화장실 좀 다녀올게요. 다녀왔습니다. 아 설마 여기서도 영혼이란 얘기가 튀어나올 줄 예상하지 못했는데. 오늘도 카페인의 힘을 조금만 더 받아볼까요? 그럼 시작할게요. 그럼 계속 가봅시다. 갑작스레 영혼이 튀어나와서 좀 당황스럽긴 한데
I'm still not
Should
sure.
we take another look?
이건 이제 왜 못 풀어 이거?
Let's come back later.
저 잉크 모시기 쓸 수 있을 텐데. Fits. 아 음악을 들려줘야 된다고.
This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gemstony.
Sometimes. You never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny, inedible fruit?
You look at it. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
호호. 노래를 들려줘야 된다고? 노래를 칠 수 있는 이거던가? 아, 나 성격 급한데.
It's piano music.
바로 온다. 이건 아닌가? 단순한 노래라고 했지.
That's the
It's all set.
Sure is.
단순. 글쎄요, 노래를 들려줄 수 있는 수단이 뭐가 있었지? 피아노? 다시 봐. 바삐? 아니고 우리가 소리를 들을 수 있는 곳이 어디 있었지?
That's
This
something.
just feels out of place. We already solved it.
어이구. 피츠한테서 아직 해결 못한 게 있나? 왜 계속 저 힌트가 피츠랑 얘기를 하라고 하지? 뭔가 놓친 게 있나 봐.
What's with the broken glass?
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
오.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation. I like Flora. I hope she's all right.
Do you think she had anything to do with the murder?
There's no way. She wouldn't willingly cause any additional suffering for anyone. Felix is a contradiction. His loyalties are placed firmly within the realm of materialism, money, property, but his ego relies on an entirely fraudulent self-image, don't you think?
I was just about to say the same thing.
She questioned
인물부터
me,
하나하나 다
About what?
my work,
단서
the
던져봐야죠.
plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box.
이거
leaves
그
and twigs
프레야 방에
inside.
있던 그 상자 말하는
She'd
거죠?
say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her,
딱정벌레를
but she was
프레야가
always
모았다.
kind.
딱정벌레를
Have you met
프레야가
this guy,
모았다는 거죠.
Fitz? Shifty eyes. Doesn't say a
방금
lot.
딱정벌레랑
Totally
연관이 되나 이게?
suspicious, if you ask me.
That's me.
Yeah, that's... It was a joke. I was joking.
Oh, I see.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing in the greenhouse. Asks me about the birds, too, and insects. He's pretty clued up on his evolutionary biology.
I didn't think there was much overlap between astronomy and biology.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think
오야 얘
she's...
웃는 거 처음 봤어.
Well, they make assumptions.
And
방금
how's the
잠깐은
relationship doing
웃지 않았어요?
recently?
Good. It's good.
Oh,
아닌가 내가 잘못 봤나?
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong? Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun.
누가
Like a
불렀는지도
twist,
모른다고?
you know?
It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details.
이거 파피한테 나중에
How
물어봐야겠군요.
odd.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
뭔데?
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor.
무릎을 꿇은 채였다고?
There's something off about this.
What is it?
Why don't you take another look at Flora's room?
You think we missed a clue up there?
Not exactly. Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect
플로라
faultless
방 가봐야
colors.
된다고.
Red,
이거.
blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it. But it was empty.
Fun Story. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Me 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me too.
That's quite sweet, really. Felix made that? Huh. Freya's best work, in my opinion. Although, the photo doesn't carry the same energy as the real thing.
What do you think it's a painting of?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore.
Anymore?
I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult,
Oh.
even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks. Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they, like, her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not.
Any idea who this is?
No idea. Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course.
파피가 이거 연주해 줄 수 있나?
Those petals,
What?
they're red.
뭐 아닌
Wait,
것 같은데.
those are mine. The earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
일단
Why not?
플로라 있던 방에
Nature
다시
is
가야 돼요.
unruly. In
물감
truth,
때문에.
it prefers to
1번.
be left alone. It's Fifi and Freya.
파피한테 가서
Don't you think
저거
Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe,
연주해 줄 수 있냐고
maybe not.
물어보자.
She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo,
아,
that'd
이렇게
be
힌트를
3.
주네요.
Checkmate.
우린 이미 풀었지만. 난 물어보지 않고 풀었지만. 그러니까 정답을 맞춘다면 단서를 다 확인 안 해도 힌트 없이도 갈 수 있는 거고.
Supposedly, Freya was working. Looks like
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
뭐가 없다는 거야? 아까 분명히 얘가 뭐 없다 그랬어.
Supposedly,
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
Freya's painting supplies. A little pot.
It's the only plant in the entire. A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look. The attic store.
Yeah.
It's so dark.
Somehow the sunlight.
A bunch of old covered in dust now, but we already solved it.
Anything we should know? Besides staring out the window?
말 좀 해. 어디까지 말 안 하나 보자. 다 클릭해줄게 내가.
Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
이거 얘기는 해보자.
Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there, or is it always empty?
혹시 아줌마한테 답장을 하고 있는 건데 우리가 안 기다려주는 거 아닐까?
Do you know what this
고개를
is?
끄덕이는데 한 10초가 걸리는데
Yes,
안
not.
기다려주는 건가?
You haven't seen this yet, have you?
It's a little model of you. Who were the other people next to you? What do you think of your husband's hobby?
와
Do
근데
you have
진짜
any
이거
hobbies?
만화에서 만약 무능한 경찰 같은 거 등장했으면은 플로라는 이미 잡혀갔다. 사건 현장에 혼자
Have
있었잖아.
you seen this book before?
위력
know who it
용의자라고
belongs to?
원래는. 난 아직도 왜 얘가 멀쩡히 그냥 가만히 있는지 모르겠어.
I really thought she was gonna say something there.
가장 의심돼야 될 대상 아니야? 살인 현장에 둘이 있었는데 딱 피해자랑 심지어 발견자도 아니야. 얘가 막 뭐라고 한 것도 아니었어.
Do you know anything about these birds? Or birds in general?
와 한결같이 말을 안 하네.
Do you recognize any of these feathers?
This is a photo of Fifi, isn't it? Your daughter? We met Felix, your husband. He's one of our suspects, and he seems pretty suspicious if you ask me. So, if you want to stick up for him,
하겠냐?
now's your chance.
와 이번에 머리가
Nice
휘날렸어.
try.
그래도
We spoke to your daughter Fifi. She's some kind of super intelligent scientist. You must be proud of her. We spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume she didn't get anything out of you either. I bet that really ticked her off.
Do you and Fitz have anything to do with each other? Other than your initials? You know the guy in the other tower? Weird astronomy professor guy?
와
Can you see him from your window? Can he see
한결같네.
you?
아무 말도 안 하네.
What do you know about Penny?
I can't really imagine those two being friends, to be honest.
You never know. Do you and Poppy get along?
Nothing. Shocker. Grimoire, what could you possibly be writing down?
Oh no, I gave up making notes ages ago. Now I'm just doodling in the margins.
잠깐만 악보 좀 보여줄게요. 빠삐한테.
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
역시. 잠깐 피아노에서?
What do you make of this statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird.
잠시만요. 호수 가장자리라고 그랬거든.
A little pond.
It looks. See those metal?
Yeah.
Nothing. Looks like somebody broke them and then.
Ah, a little wonder how it's hooked up.
여기 어딘?
Ah, I wonder how it's hooked up.
호수가 여기가 아닌가 본데. 플로라의 타에서도 멜로디가 들렸다고?
Half the rooms.
I don't know if you can call it the sudden absence of wall. I don't know if it's the sudden absence of wall.
아 이건 플로라의 탑이구나. 방이 아니라. 이건 피츠고. 플로라의 방이 어디지? 이건 프레야고. 이건 피피. 이건 파피. 이건 페니. 이건 다락방. 플로라의 방이 어디지? 뭐라? 작업장. 어? 여기도 당연히 아닐 텐데? 천문탑.
It's not locked.
A door.
Oh, what's behind
A
it?
room.
Stairs.
Stairs.
Now it's a.
There are
it's
weeds
an
and
aquarium.
could be anymore.
What is?
I think it's a family tree.
플로라의 방이 어디지? 이건 프레야의 방이잖아. 이건 연극 도서실이고. 피피가 얘기하는.
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
플로라의 방을
Must
찾아.
be worth a fortune.
아직 뭐 내가 못
Why do you
들어간
ask,
건가?
Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family.
오.
This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
프레야처럼 말하는 거
I
맞죠?
require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife
아닐까?
found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which, as a mere abstract representation, does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
어.
Working on it.
We are.
Wait. If I need only two, how about that?
I'm still not
Should we take another look?
What? 아 왜? 두 개 더 없어도 찍으면 될 거 아니야. 확률 낮지도 않은데.
Let's come back late.
치. 찍기를 모르는 녀석들이고. 원래 저런 건 노가다로 하면 풀리는 거라고. 뭐 아무 횟수가 정해진 것도 아닌데 좀 노가다 좀 하면 어때서? 보이나? 그럴까?
Curious. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
액시던트가 아니었다고?
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself.
그래 그게 왜 피가 왜 피가 거기 묻어 있을까?
But blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
그래.
It was
이유는
Poppy.
뭐였어?
She told me she thought the painting looked like a
Poppy가?
bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course,
배지한테 뭘 바라?
the red paint on the brush is not paint. It is blood. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
Do not know the answer.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood,
Hmm?
not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but
애시당초
still.
처음부터 빨간색이
Doesn't it
피었다고?
freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
뭐지? 진짜 주술
That
같은 건가?
belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections
어우,
between
이과
all
냄새.
matter in the universe, living
그
or
중에서도
inanimate.
자연과학 쪽 냄새다. 어우,
Is this yours, Fifi?
I do not recognize it.
같은
Besides,
이과라도
I would
공과랑
have
저런
no use for
자연과학
such a
쪽이랑
thing.
또 느낌이
Perhaps
다르답니다.
it could be used to hang wet laundry?
Was that a joke?
Yes. It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
프레야라고?
A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint.
어?
Do you know who was reading this book?
쟤 또
It belongs to my
이상해지는데.
mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time. This belongs
내
to
느낌이
Professor
이렇게
Pointer.
세야지.
Is it
빨간색
not?
옷이 어떻게 페인트칠을 했을까라는 얘기.
I don't think so.
그치, 방에
Who
있었을
else
수도
would
있을
own such a
텐데. 왜?
pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless. Unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. That blade.
It's a troll
Blade?
for gardening.
블레이드라고? 잠깐
Why did
블레이드라고
Poppy leave
했어?
shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable
아, 너무
explanation.
많은 데이터가 머릿속에 들어오니까 헷갈린다.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no
이미
idea.
풀었어. 빠삐인 거 알아.
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for
내가
her.
몇 개 건너뛰고
Why is
빠삐를
that?
푼 거네.
No
원래
idea.
빠삐가 벌써
She has
풀렸으면
never
안 되는
graced
건데.
me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object?
근데 이게 되게
Next.
재밌는 게
It
이
is a flower.
게임은 퍼즐 자체는 그렇게
reminds me
어렵지
of
않아.
something,
근데
but I
퍼즐까지
cannot say
도달하는데 시간이 걸려.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues. What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
No, these weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third. Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44. Profession,
엥? 44였어?
unknown. Likes,
그렇게 젊어?
unknown. Dislikes,
플로라
unknown.
생각보다 되게 젊었네.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know
아,
anything?
그럴 수 있어. 생각보다 가족에 대해 모를 수
I
있어.
believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
일이 있을까?
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53.
와, 나이 많다.
Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and
야,
assigning
딱
them
봐도
personal
플렉스는
value.
무슨 뭔가
Dislikes,
얘가
the
범인이 아니어도
inescapable
뭔가
realities
저질렀을
of human
캐릭터인데
existence.
돈을 금전적으로
Felix is
돈을
my father
좋아하고
and legal guardian.
어?
And,
애가 뭔가
Is he a
이상한
good
소리
dad?
하고
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
no? Why not?
You asked
플렉스는
me a
혹시
binary
플로라와
question.
결혼한
Do not get
이유가
upset that I
돈
provided one of the two
때문일까라는
possible
얘기도 나올
answers.
수 있을
What makes
정도로
him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct. Name, Fiona Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya? How are you related to her?
We share exactly one grandparent. Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard. Name,
얘잖아.
Freya Fellow.
클립보드 갖고 계속
Age,
난리치는 애가.
19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, 1, increasingly independent, and 2, increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
또
The three
파피야?
of you are friends.
We are of a similar age
파피한테
and all highly
그
gifted. One scientist,
최종
one
조사를
artist,
했어도
and one
단서를 다
musician.
던져봐야 되네.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower.
어?
He was making every effort to avoid detection.
포인트 타워엔 안 간다 그러지
He
않았냐?
was also carrying a knife.
쟤 안
Name,
간다고 하지 않았어요?
Percival
아까?
Pointer. Age, 57. Profession? None.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh, yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
자, 일단 증언 불일치하나 나왔습니다.
Penelope Pointer.
이게
Age
아마
27.
조만간 단서를 제가 충분히 모으면은
Ornithologist.
이거 한 번 더
Likes
조합하려고 할
birds,
거거든요. 그럼
dislikes
거기서 아마 이제 얘가
insects,
말한 거랑 피츠가
notes.
말한 거가
Penelope.
컨플릭트 되면서
very
이제
beautiful.
충돌하면서
I have never had very much in common with
뭔가
her.
또 하겠죠. 추리 같은 거.
Name: Poppy Pointer. Age: 19. Profession: oh. Apparently, Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had, of course, originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
There's something about Felix something.
Let's ask him about it.
가보죠. 야,
There's something.
Let's ask her about it.
어이야.
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room.
나이프가
So
아니라면
what's going on?
말 한마디 좀 해줘봐요.
It's not a knife.
나이프가 아니겠지. 거기 끄덕였어.
We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
That kinda makes sense.
야, 그러면 깃털?
That kinda makes sense.
생각이란 걸 해보자. 새와 새자 동상 아닐까? 조각사?
That's not it.
깃털은 맞는 것 같죠. 나도 그렇게 생각은 하거든. 근데 깃털이 아니래.
Let's take a closer look at this.
이거 아닐까? 뭐이고?
The painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink-dip bird.
It's definitely the right
야,
shape.
웃긴 거는
But the book's
정작
not in
상대는
color.
아무 말도 안 해.
The thing Flora's holding in the painting is
상대는
red
아무
and
말도 안
white
하는데
specifically.
진행이
Is there
되고
anything
있어.
to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too?
이거
This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
기다려봐.
The ink-dip
이건 아닐
bird
거고, 이건 아니야.
attacked Flora, so she destroyed a single feather
아니야, 아니야,
as
이건 아닐 거야.
evidence of a crime. Nope.
전혀 아닌 거야. 기다려봐. 페니의 애완동물이 아니라 플로라의 애완동물이고 깃털 한 대를 갖고 있었던 거는 기억하기 위해서
The
아닐까?
bird was Flora's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe.
죽은
Maybe
게
it flew
아니라
away.
Flora
죽임을 당한
spends
거
all her
아닐까?
time staring out the window.
이
By the
빨간 통에
way,
담겨
she
있던
kept the
피가
feather.
새의
I
피
think it was
아닐까?
pretty important
사람의
to
피란
her.
얘기는 안 했잖아.
Alright. So, she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does.
여기 통 안에 있지
Normally.
않았었을까?
This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
이거 아니었을까?
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm.
지금은 없는 거지.
Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at something.
It's just a pile. Wait.
프레야가 준 선물이었네. 아직도
A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look.
Oh.
Yeah, there might be a reason for that. I like these drawings, Flora.
Is there a reason why you wanted us to see them?
칼 같은 거의 정체는 알았어요 일단.
So, about this paint we found
이거
in your
새의
room.
피 아니었을까?
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
프레야
Let's take a closer look at this.
이거 모양.
Freya's blue paint pot is exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Nope. Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
이것도 왠지 모르게
Why
딴
are you
사람한테서 그
bothering me about
힌트
paint
얻고 와서
anyway?
풀었어야 되는 건가
And none
설마?
of this is connected to your murder.
아니야 관계가 있지.
Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot before Freya used it to paint Flora. Nope. Blood was used to fill up this red paint pot before Freya used it to paint Flora. That's not right. This red paint pot was
서수
somehow
문제였네.
filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
이 아저씨는
Why were
너무
you in such a
수상해서
hurry to
범인이
get a
아닐
hold
것
of red
같아.
paint anyway?
I
너무
was trying
수상해서.
to finish this in time for Flora's birthday.
무슨 느낌인지
I
알아요.
needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question.
이
It
아저씨가
had to be red and
범인이기엔
white.
너무
If you
노골적이야.
managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene.
자, 그럼 이거 하기 전에 한번 끊고 가겠습니다. 화장실 좀 갔다 올게요. 다녀왔습니다. 계속 이어서 해볼까요? 자, 그러면은 이제 한번 정리를 해야겠죠? 일단 필트가
We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
아니, 그건 아니겠지. 물컨통에 물건과 피가
Paint from the paint pot
이건
was
아닐 것
replaced
같은데.
by blood from the paint pot to hide the evidence. Nope.
피는 어디서 묻은 걸까? 또 어떻게 사용됐을까? 칠한 얼룩색 깃털에 피 묻은 칼에 연상시킨다.
Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
I think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question. Why?
왜?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
그러니까
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person
아니면은
unless
프레야가
someone
계속
took it from
아까
her.
무슨 영적
Let's go
어쩌고
over
저쩌고
what we
있으니까
do know.
정답을 잘
The door
찾는다고요?
was locked
뭐
the whole
논리적으로
time.
맞는 것만 몇 개
It stayed
없으니까요.
locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no
아,
knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
맞아,
How is
이건
it not
중요할
important?
수도 있어.
Right now, I'm less interested in the what and more interested in the how.
왜냐면 나머지들 금이가 있었잖아.
The
그게
angle of
분명 연관이
Freya's
있을
wound
거야.
suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the
근데
canvas.
캔버스는 또 멀쩡했단 말이지.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the
근데 어떻게
painting?
그림을
Wouldn't
멀쩡하지?
that leave a hole?
그니까.
Okay, well, how about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
뭐 어쩌라는 거야? 일단 잠깐만요. 그 앵무새 사진만 얘한테 물어보고 파피한테 갈게.
Freya drew these,
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
but she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother, like a
한번
private thing
정리해준
between
느낌이긴
Freya
해요,
and Flora.
자, 파피한테 가봅시다. 우리 누구한테 면담만 하면은 매일같이 애들이 그러죠. 빠삐 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 빠삐. 자, 빠삐. 너가 해줄 얘기가 아주
So
많은
there
것
are
같다.
two families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally.
아, 역시.
So was
후보가
Primrose,
너무
my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
아, 그렇게 된 거야.
So the fellows and the pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask, that means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
설마 그 탐정이 니네 엄마는 아니겠지?
There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
어, 그래?
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
잠깐만. 잠깐만요. 현장 한 번만 보고 올게요. 이거 혹시 위에서, 그러니까 얘가 쓰러진 거는 따로 쓰러진 거고 그 뒤에 위에서 뭐가 떨어졌나? 여기서 왔다기엔 그림이 아무 영향이 없으니까 여기서 왔다고 할 수 없고 위나 아래거든요. 그럼 그러니까 얘랑 얘가 쓰러진 이유가 뭔가 똑같은 이유로 쓰러졌는데 그 뒤에 천장이나 아래에서 얘를 찔렀다고 봤는데 아래에 뭐 구멍이 있는 거 아닌 것 같으니까 위에서 뭐가 떨어지거나 위에서 무언가로 관통시켜 죽은 건가? 다락방에 뭐 있을 것 같은데 그렇게 되면 근데 지금으로선 풀 수 없겠죠 아마?
Where's that light coming
That's
from?
just daylight. There's a decent gap between the.
그러니까 여기서 뭐가 떨어뜨려서요.
Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is?
이 틈으로 떨어져서 애를 죽인 건 이게 살해 방법이라면은 그 증거를 가장 먼저 치울 수 있었던 건 제일 먼저 도착한 필치일 텐데 필치랑 같이 먼저 도착했던 3명이었나 2명이 가장 유력해지지 않나? 용의자로서
Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you?
그 가능성도 높아요. 여기서 되게 희한한 게 뭐냐면 첫 번째 그레이모어가 본인들이 누가 불렀는지 모르는데 왔어. 이게 첫 번째로 되게 의심스럽고요. 이상하죠? 두 번째로 아까 갑자기 프레이야가 남겼다는 편지처럼 나한테 보여주면서 웬 그림 보여주고 있죠 지금? 이거 보여주고 있죠? 근데 이거 얻을 때 종이에 프레이야의 글이 적혀 있었고 여기서 만약에 진짜로 막 유령 같은 게 나오는 이게 작품이다 그러면 상관이 없는데 그게 아니라면 이거는 보통 그거예요. 그레모어랑 셀리가 초청되는 건 이미 정해져 있었던 거야. 그러니까 살인 사건이 아니더라도 어떤 사건을 바탕으로 얘네를 어차피 부를 거였고 그걸 알고 있었기 때문에 프레야가 준비를 해놨던 거야. 근데 예기치 못하게 프레야는 예상하지 못한 상태로 죽은 거죠. 그러니까 이거는 상황을 봐야 되는데 뭐가 대체 어떻게 돌아가는 건 상황을 좀 더 봐야긴 해야 되는데 한 가지 확실한 거는 이런 경우에는 어떤 경우가 많냐 물론 이제 수많은 추리 만화에서 나오는 이야기지만 이런 식으로 일부러 탐정을 고용하는 경우가 있어요. 왜? 사건을 마치 해결한 것처럼 보이게 만들기 위해서. 그러니까 진짜 목적은 따로 있고 살인사건이나 그런 사건은 원래 약간 다른 사건인데 이게 보통 가짜 사건을 만들거든요. 근데 진짜로 사람이 죽는 경우가 생기는 거지. 그럼에도 상관이 없어. 그렇게 해서 사건을 종결시킴으로써 내가 밝히고 싶었던 진실을 밝히거나 혹은 이제 숨기고자 했던 진실을 완전히 묻어버리는 용도로 이 탐정과 추리를 사용하는 경우가 꽤 있어요. 에피소드들이. 물론 대부분의 추리 만화에서는 주인공들이 이제 그거 합니다. 아 이래서 우리를 불렀구나 하면서 이제 그 작전을 짠 사람을 이제 물먹이죠. 예, 그 장면이 많이 나오는데 뭐 대표적으로 이제 많은 것들 중 하나가 또 그것도 있죠. 숨겨진 걸 찾아내는. 그러니까 예를 들어 이 탱글 타워에 뭔가 숨겨진 비밀이 있거나 아니면은 얘네 플로라나 이런 애들이 숨기고 있던 사실을 파헤치기 위해서 다른 사건을 이제 계기로 탐정을 불러. 그럼 탐정이 계속 탐문 수사를 할 거 아니야. 그럴 때 이제 이런 수상한 것들이 있다. 우리 집안에 수상한 비밀이 있다. 이걸 던져. 그러면은 탐정들이 그걸 찾아내겠지. 그럼 밝혀지는 거지. 그럼으로써 이제 그걸 밖으로 공표시키고 싶었던 애들이 뭐 그렇게 해서 탐정을 쓰는 경우도 있는데 이건 봐야 돼요. 되게 경우가 많은데 뭐 결과적으로 이런 말 하면 그런데 이걸 이 얘기를 왜 했냐? 탐정이 주인공인데 그런 에피소드가 펼쳐진다. 99% 주인공들은 그거를 주모한 애들은 물 먹습니다. 보통 물 먹는 경우가 많아요. 그러니까 본인이 원하는 대로 안 끝나. 뭐 일부는 원하는 대로 될 수 있는데 본인이 원하는 대로 안 끝나는 경우가 많아요. 이런 걸 주도한 애들. 그러니까 지금 이제 그레모어를 부른 애들은 아마 본인들이 원하는 대로 안 될 확률이 높아. 물론 아닌 경우도 있습니다. 99%는 좀 많이 갔네요. 한 60%로 하죠.
If you hadn't said anything,
차이가
maybe
너무 심하긴
50
하죠.
wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do.
잠깐만요. 아 그래서네. 아까 피치나 누구한테 얘기했을 때 그 얘기 나왔잖아. 팔레트에 뭔가 색이 부족하다 그랬잖아요. 나 좀 이따 지금도 할 수 있지 않나? 잠깐만. 초상화를 잘 보고 봐봐. 여기에 쓰인 색깔들 이걸 잘 보고 팔레트 모든 색을 섞어 놓는다 그랬잖아. 근데 이 중에 없는 색이거나 색인데 안 쓴 색이 있을 거야. 주황색이 없지 않아요? 주황색이 이걸 주황색으로 썼나? 그러니까 이게 아마 이 단서가 좀 더 나올 건데 이 색깔에 대한 단서가 나올 것 같아.
Why is the glass cracked down one side?
그러니까.
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
아까 이미
Literally
추궁 다 했잖아.
anybody.
뭘 아닌 척을
What
해.
was inside?
Nothing.
그러니까 내가 너무 빨리 풀었어. 원래 얘 거를 이렇게 빨리
You
풀 게
get some
아니었는데
weird insects around here. But I've
다
never seen
풀어버렸어.
one
이걸
like
먼저 다
that.
하고 푸는
I'm
거였는데
not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep
이걸 다
beetles in a
했어야
box
되는데 안 하고
in her
그냥
room.
풀어버려가지고
Why?
For fun,
뭔가
obviously.
스포당하고 다시 그러니까 드라마를 무슨 한 7화 정도 7화를 본 다음에 다시 한 3, 4, 5화 보는 기분이야. 3, 4, 5, 6화
Forgot we
보고
even
있어
had
사실.
an attic. Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly?
Oh, how nice. Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's
Yeah.
where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
서로가
Do you know
서로를
why?
싫어한다고
I'm
생각하네.
not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. Did you find that in Fifi's room?
No? Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think? Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah.
어,
He does that.
그러니까 단서에 대한 정보를 얻고
Is
풀어야
that a
되는데 그냥 다
gardening
풀어버렸어.
trowel?
아니 근데
Yeah.
어쩔 수가 없는 게
I
내가
think it
보기에는
belongs to
단서를 안
Fitz.
줘도
Really?
그냥 논리적으로 저거밖에
Never
되는 게
seen
없으니까
music.
그냥 딱딱딱딱딱 간 건데
Don't look at me. I didn't break
문제는
it.
이제
Does
그러고
anybody
쭉쭉 가야
else use
되는데
music
쭉쭉 못
room?
가는 게 이제 그
Yes.
트리거가 되는 단서들을
I
내가 다
don't
못
know
모았다
who,
보니까
but I can tell
예를 들어
when
아까 호수
somebody
문제 못
else
푸는
has touched
것처럼
the
하프 문제
piano.
못 푸는 것처럼
I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does
그래서 트리거
Fifi
모으려고
let
다시
them out
돌아온
to fly?
거잖아요.
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't.
그러니까 원래는 저거 이제 마지막 거 추리 같은 거 할 때 단서 모르니까 다시 단서를 그러니까 이거 할 때 혐의할 때 모르니까 다시 와서 단서를 다 보면서 이제 아 이거구나 저거구나 해야 되는데 저걸 그냥 풀어버리는 거야 그냥 이거밖에 없네 하고 딱딱딱 풀어버리니까
It's nothing.
단서가 없는데 푼
They're just
거지.
unusual. never seen
그래서
that
꼬인 것
one
같아요.
before. Was it in the
원래는
greenhouse?
이제
Oh, we found it in
풀 수가
Penny's room.
없으니까 나머지를 다 보면서 다른 단서들도 모아서 다른 트리거 다 있는 상태에서 풀면
Do you know
자연스럽게
where
다음
those
거로 가야
earmuffs
되는데
came from?
그게 아니라
I
저걸
put
그냥
them there.
풀어버리니까
Why?
게임은 이제 풀었네
Found them
다른 거
lying
알려줄게요
around.
갔는데
I think they belonged
단서가
to Fitz.
부족하니까 더 이상 진행이
Put
안
them on
되는
the
거지.
statue so he'd see them. I
트리거가
thought they looked like
모자라니까.
headphones, like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet. How sweet.
풀어버려갖고 서순이 꼬였어. 어이가 없지.
Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word,
시야?
unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling. Stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
왜 다 C를 해?
Holding fast, days as shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender, accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom? Some four walls make round a room. Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze. With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity
뭐 그렇죠.
all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way. Eavesdrop what the stars are saying, earthly tether, slowly fraying, floating helpless from the worst of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet. Feathers flashing in the light from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage. That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kinda cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
자 일단 얘한테서 얻을 수 있는 거 다 얻었어요. 정?
It's a stone.
I think it's an
test.
egg.
What animal?
Hawk.
Right, a hawk bear lizard.
What do you think?
I
It's
think it's.
Is it working?
No. It's full of.
Any
a-
fish in there?
Not a. Although there
It's a
is-
cassette. Or it used to be.
세상에 이런 게 있었다니. 아, 잘못 눌렀다. 아 너무 느려. 답답해. 좀 더 빨리 안 돼?
Weird.
It's someone humming too.
혹시 모르니까 끝까지 놓겠습니다. 야, 다음 힌트. 예? 오케이. 콜. 자, 말 좀 하자. 어이 탐정. 지금부터 난 너에게 많은 걸 물어볼 거야.
Tangle Tower.
제대로
No
답하길
idea why
바라지.
they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
I believe so.
우와.
Why?
He wants to know if you found any secret rooms.
Huh. I'm afraid the residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too. You truly consider this a case file?
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong
No
with it?
organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint. Have you deciphered the meaning of those four
세 개
symbols on the
알아냈어, 세
harp?
개.
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
No. Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora
It's
wielding
a
a knife.
knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe
다락방에서
in
온
that
거라
kind of
믿는다.
thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told?
그치, 그것도 가능성이 있지.
Paints?
Yep.
Paints.
Mm-hmm.
A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
I believe that was in Flora's room yesterday, but it was not cracked when I saw it last.
야, 저 크락이
You got
뭐에
it open.
갔을까?
I'm impressed. I managed it myself
물감도
yesterday.
그렇고 저
I
금이
thought
어떻게
Flora might be
갔는지가
hiding
궁금하긴 한데.
hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
충격파 같은
It
거.
was. Perhaps it's always been empty. Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it.
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them. What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
이거
I'm not
이거
so sure about
트리거인가?
that.
아니라네요. 아니야.
These
트리거인가
figurines
하고
remind
있는데
me of a
셀리가
case I
말합니다.
once
아니야,
solved
가지마,
involving a
가지마,
possessed
가지마, 가지마.
doll.
안 가도 돼, 시간
Turned out
낭비.
to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we
참 친절한
not having a
게임이야.
fun adventure right at this very moment?
길치한테 되게 친절하지 않아요? 저 같은 길치한테.
I
어디로
tell
가야
him not
될지
to quit
모를
his
때.
day job, but he hasn't got one,
어.
has he?
아까 막 지도 누르면은 막 힌트도 받을
I
수
admit,
있고.
it's powerful. Freya was a
단서
talented
조합되면은 야 단서 조합됐어 가자
Someone
이러고.
liked it enough to take a photo of it.
Now, we don't know why they took the
이거
photograph.
얼마나
do
시간
we?
낭비하겠어.
Perhaps they just wanted it for reference.
만약에 저거 셀리가 안 막았으면은 막
A book
방에
from the
가서 단서도
library,
없는데 막
one of
계속
hundreds,
클릭해보고
no
왜
doubt.
없지 왜 없지
What makes this
이러겠지.
one special?
It's about birds.
Yes, I see that. A diary. Have you read it?
네.
Not yet. It's
아,
locked.
풀었다고.
And you haven't
아니 대체 이걸 언제 했어야
attempted
되는
to
거길래
That would be cheating.
왜 서순이 안 맞지?
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
아까 비슷한 장르의
And,
어떤 게임과는 다 다르죠.
What is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client. The people here are surprisingly materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth? This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone
이미
we've met so
알잖아,
far.
파피라는 거.
Strange. Is that a clue?
Dunno. It was important enough to be framed, though.
I framed my law degree, doesn't make it a clue.
Same? Yeah?
These people really are ridiculous, aren't they?
아,
You
그래도
consider that important evidence,
예상했던
do you?
것처럼 모든 사람한테 이걸 하고 다니는 건
One
힘들긴
of 3
하지만
statues depicting the same creature. This one
그래도 거의 다 가고
wearing
있다는 게
headphones. Perhaps they
참
belong to someone who likes music.
They're not
다행이다.
headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like. Do you also
단서
have a
나올 때마다
pile of
이야기해야
leaves
되는데
as
저는
a clue?
단서를 다 모아놓고
Not yet.
한 방에 처리하고
Did you see
있잖아요.
some suspicious leaves?
A photograph of Freya could be important.
아마 원래는 거기겠지. 연하기님 말씀대로 그
Does Flora
단서 찾을
still
때마다
own that
다
bird?
돌아다니면서 말
Do
걸고
you
말
know?
걸고 말 걸고 해야
Don't
되는데
think
나는
so. The drawings are
다
from a
말
few years ago.
걸어놓고 말만
I
걸어놓고 이거 조사 하나도 안 하고 말만 걸어놓고
Where'd you dig that?
단서부터
up?
다
It wasn't
찾아놓고
buried. It was underwater.
Someone trying to conceal evidence, perhaps?
There's something about something.
Let's ask her about it.
This little microscope thing, you said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense if you knew what my client had
그래서
asked me
서순이
to
꼬인 듯.
find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry. We already worked out what you're searching for.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse. It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
와우.
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Empire of
Really?
Galaxy.
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure. but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me. And so, I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired
Oh.
me, I dared to consider it something of a
고용주가 누군지
planetary
알아냈다.
alignment. I had
포인터였구나.
hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
옛날에
Hold on.
인연이 있었구나.
You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect
프레야겠지.
is your murder victim.
그럴 것 같더라. 왜냐면 프레야가 계속 가져갔잖아요. 프레야가 계속 가져갔어요. 얘가 그 딱정벌레를. 그것 때문에 얘를 의심하는 거야. 의심한 거야. 근데 이제 죽어버렸잖아. 정무? 됐다. 완성했다.
That's all.
So-
Should we go back to the...
Let's try this again.
드디어.
You know, I think we might be able... That's got...
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
와우.
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to...
야, 오피셜로 말하네요. 오피셜로 말하네. 야, 가서 다 하고 와. 야, 가서 다 대화하고 와. 여기 들어가기 전에. 최종 스테이지인가 보네요, 여기가. 예. 여기가 아마 거의 최종 스테이지가 아닐까. 예. 우리 지금 얘기 다 안 나눈 애들 있거든요. 예, 걔네들하고 다 얘기 나눠라 이거네요. 헨리부터 얘기할까요? 아, 그리고 30분 됐으니까 한번 여기서 끊고 가도록 하겠습니다. 단서마저 다 조사해봅시다. 자, 그럼 계속 가봅시다.
I feel like I'm starting.
어,
No, it's probably quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you.
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance? You're the next oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you
야,
very
여자한테
much
나이
for phrasing
많다고.
it like that. But no, any money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
아, 그래?
Is that fair?
I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest. Finally, I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Well, only last week I asked that miserable hawkshot woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being, what was it? A shallow sensationalist. I'm sure I've read about this creature somewhere.
어, 그래?
Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling. Don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her. Oh,
그래도 얘는 뭐 많이
that's
말
rather
걸어놨으면
sad.
하긴 이런 거 봐봐 다 말 걸어놨잖아. 새
Freya
관련된
doesn't
게
take very
많아서
good
말을
care of her
많이
pains, does she?
해놨었어.
But then she was always rather bohemian, had her own priorities. Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone. on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh, yes, adorable. How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme.
응?
3 different pinks. Obscene.
아니
Is that
색깔 때문에?
for sewing?
Maybe.
We have no idea.
오늘 못 끝낼 수도 있겠다. 거의 다 온
I
것
know a
같긴
lot of
한데
people rather like this painting, but it's a little much.
거의 다 온 것 같긴
I
한데
find it overbearing.
아마
For some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya.
한
I think she was
오늘
more trouble
끝내고 나면
than
한
me.
1시간 정도 남지 않았을까?
A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it? I don't know what that is.
그래도 이거 만약에 이제
Haven't seen this one in a
끝나면은
while.
진짜 오랜만에
He
게임 끝내는
lives in the
거네.
music room, doesn't he?
한두 달 만에 게임 하나 끝내는 느낌?
I can't decide what's worse.
하고
How
있는
she
게임들이 다
looks
길어가지고
here, or how she looks
역제도
now.
그렇고 대역
Do you know
전자판도
what
그렇고
this is? In the
저거
photo?
하이파이
Oh,
러시도 그렇고
absolutely no
너무
idea.
길어.
Looks a little simple for Poppy, doesn't it? Thought she was a grade 12 or something.
I didn't know there were that many grades.
I'm sure they invented some new ones just for her.
응? 원래 12학년까지 있지 않나? 무슨 대학생 레벨에선 12학년이 없지만 이제 해외는 1학년부터 고3, 12학년까지 다 합쳐놓거든요. 학년 수 자체를. 학교는 6학년에서 이제 7학년으로 이제 미들스쿨, 하이스쿨로 넘어가긴 하는데 우리는 우리가 중1이라 부르는 걸 걔네는 그냥 7그레이드라 부르니까.
That's rather strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
야
We
그거
do that.
영장 없이 하면은 범죄야.
Who's the
얘들아.
her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really none of your business. Yes, it's my my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar. Lovely. Oh, there used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. Freya was
빅페스처럼
very
끝내지 말고 좀 더
talented,
얘기해주면 안 되냐?
even at that age.
Do you know how old this photo is?
Not sure. Must be a couple of years at least. Sometime before Fiona settled on her
여기서는 또 번역을
current
잘했네. 커플 오브
style.
유얼스 몇 년 전으로? 아까 건 2년 전으로 번역 잘못하더니.
It's that bird. But these must have been drawn at least a year ago. Oh, how sad.
아 1년 전엔 그러면 이 새가 있었단 소리네요.
Goodness me. Poppy really doesn't take care of her belongings, does she?
It wasn't in Poppy's room.
퍼피 거야
It
이거?
was in the little pond in the garden.
Exactly! Hardly the place for
아
it.
이것도 빠피한테 가라는 거네. 그죠?
A fellow bird enthusiast. She's quite the expert, truth be told. Studied them professionally at one point. I think her father taught her.
Are you friends with Flora?
A little bit.
A little bit friends.
She's one for the peace and quiet. I dare say I'm a little too loud for her.
I can see that.
I do admire her, though, really. Always felt like she could have done better than settle for Felix.
Ouch.
I said it. She mostly ignores me, if I'm honest.
How come?
Well, we're not quite on the same intellectual level.
Oh, you don't need to.
No, it's quite all right. I'm comfortable with it. She's a most unsavory little... She was incredibly rude about my appearance.
불만이 많은데.
Which part? The giant bird arms or...
If I were her, I'd go easy on the judgment of others. I mean, look at her. She looks like the ghost of a scarecrow. I just wish Uncle Pointer would tell her to behave herself.
Professor Pointer? Why him?
Oh, it was Uncle that
아,
called her
이제
in.
이런 식으로
She's
밝혀지네.
his responsibility. Did you not know that? She'd sit in the aviary, first thing in the morning, and paint the birds. Sometimes she'd ask me their names.
Freya was interested in studying bird species too?
No, just wanted to know their names. Isabel, Clementine, Myrtle, Lysandre, Genevieve.
Got it, thanks.
For my 21st birthday, she gave me a framed painting. All the birds from a single spring, with their names written underneath. I can't begin to tell you how much I've treasured it.
Sounds like you two were close.
I feel like I always struggled to articulate my admiration for her, but she had a way of understanding unspoken things. Isn't he strapping?
He is big.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input. Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion, I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
Oh, she's beautiful.
어우,
Who
작고.
is she? Wait, is that me?
어우,
Oh,
뭐야?
did you talk to Poppy?
깜짝이야.
Yeah, a little bit.
게임 잠깐
Did you
멈춰가지고
make
깜짝
any
놀랐네.
notes of what she told you?
게임이 갑자기 멈춰가지고
Yeah, I did.
순간적으로 그
Burn them. It'll all be lies.
Why
또
would
게임
Poppy
멈추고
lie to
터진
us?
줄 알고 깜짝
Because
놀랐네.
that's what she does. She's a snake. Looks like one too.
Don't you think you're being a little unfair, Penny?
She started it.
There's something about the report of Fitz. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
아, 드디어. 아니 근데 방금 전 쟤랑 대화할 때는 그 어떤 것도 관계 없지 않았어요? 얘랑 얘기한 거?
So, Fitz, I have a report that you were
야, 이건
seen
아까 듣지 않았냐?
sneaking up
아까?
Pointer Tower. Holding a knife.
That's not right. I don't go into Pointer Tower. I don't own a knife. And I don't sneak. Was it Fifi who told you this?
How did you know that?
A guess. She doesn't like me very much. But yeah, she was mistaken. Maybe she wasn't wearing her eye lens thing.
What do you think, Grimoire?
Fifi did see Fitz, but he was holding
너무 뻔하죠.
something else.
So,
왜냐면
if it wasn't a knife, what was it?
누가 그랬거든요. 이걸 블레이드라고.
What about this?
Ah, that.
Is it yours?
It was a gift. It's sentimental. I have no reason to take it up Pointer Tower. I don't use it at all.
아, 누구 때문에 갔냐가 중요하다고.
An ornate trowel
이거 아니면?
was used to bury a potted flower in Penny's room. Almost. Maybe just. An ornate trowel was used to bury
실례는
a potted
없는데.
flower in the garden. Nope.
페니의 방은 맞나 봐. 설마
An
깃털이야?
ornate trowel was used to bury a single feather in Penny's room. That's not right.
이게 맞다고 하고 있기 위해서가 아니라
An
돌보는 용도가
ornate
아닐까?
trowel is used by Fitz to look after a potted flower in Penny's room.
That flower,
Yes?
I've never seen it before.
We need a clue to compare to that flower. Something that proves its connection to Fitz.
꽃과 직접 비교할 수 있는. 이거 아닐까?
That's not right.
아니네. 이건가?
That's not right.
아니네.
That's not right.
Let's take a closer look at these.
이거 아니야? 이거밖에 없어.
The pot and soil in Penny's room matches the pot and soil found in Fitz's greenhouse. Let me guess. Penny's flower was originally a gift from you, Fitz. There's no way it's a coincidence.
No way.
정말
what's a
친절하고
coincidence?
게임이.
The flower. It looks exactly like Penny.
It took me a long time to breed. I wanted the colors to be exactly right.
와,
That's
대단한
some
놈이다.
gift.
Turns out Penny isn't particularly interested in looking after plants. So I go into her room every now and again when she's not there. Water the flower, change the soil, just trying to keep it alive. Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note in the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
커피한테 가야 돼.
This is mine.
그래, 이거.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
1년 전.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said
그러면
she
저
wanted to record something.
콘노래라니까
Any idea how
흥얼거림은
it ended up
프레야
underwater?
거네.
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy.
자, 힌트! 프레야의 방을 살펴봐야 해. 단서가 더 있었나?
We already solved it.
There's no
I
note.
like it.
Freya's plant. They must.
이거겠죠?
That's weird.
Why did you find it?
Nothing.
너는 이거.
It's a little.
I
Come
think
again.
see the leaves might have been for keeping insects.
아니라고?
Brush.
They're clean, but they...
A pillow.
It's a
Yeah,
cushion.
but that doesn't alliterate. Even though someone's been tracking him.
painting supplies. That painting.
Why would she?
Maybe
want the
Freya. Hang
atmosphere?
on. There's a smaller.
It's a photograph.
이건 본 건데.
That painting.
Why?
Maybe
The
Freya. Hang on.
atmosphere.
There's a smaller.
It's a photograph.
알아.
Freya's.
Looks-
He's had a rough couple of days.
It's a.
I think it could also be a shark.
Deep
I don't
no
know.
windows either. Brushes.
They're clean, but they.
Brushes.
They're clean, but they.
Brushes.
They're clean, but they.
Deep
I
no
don't know.
windows either. Deep
I don't
no
know.
windows either.
That's
Not.
cool. Looks like a.
It's Freya's.
It's a perfectly healthy.
It's Freya's.
It's a perfectly healthy.
drawing.
What's that?
Looks one of them's holding a red rose.
드디어 단서를 되찾았다.
There's something about those. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
단선 다
Very
찾았다.
nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of.
Yes.
So we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I
일단
wanted to
단선 다
ask about.
찾았어요.
It's those red flower
이제
petals.
형이만 다 해결하면 됩니다.
Petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses and who they belong to. It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those two bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
어떻게 그리고 왜?
Penny's flower was given to one of Penny's birds and steal evidence from them.
아, 이건 아니다. 잠깐만. 죽이는 건 아닐 거야. 다른 누군가 가능했다. 죽이는 건 아닐 거고 도난. 증거를 훔쳤다 같은데. 엿보는데 도난당한 그런 거.
Penny's flower was stolen from one of Penny's birds and steal evidence from them. That's not right.
Still evidence from them이니까 여기엔 사람이 들어가야 돼.
Freya and Fitz was stolen from one of Penny's birds and steal evidence from them. That's not right either.
도난은 맞는 것 같아. 만원가?
Pointer's telescope was stolen from one of Penny's birds and steal evidence from them. That's not right either.
다른 누군가는 엿본 게 맞다네요.
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Freya and Fitz and steal evidence from them. Almost.
거의 다 온 것 같아.
Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage.
그니까.
She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
선생님 깃털이
We need
있습니다.
a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden. Let's take a closer look at these. This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
Are we done?
For now, it's about time we found out what's been...
오. 그래? 다 한 거야, 나? 그러네. 다 했네? 언제 다 했냐?
Where do you think it goes?
Down.
오. 지금은 이어서 가죠. 왜냐면 아직 24분밖에 안 돼서 영상이.
It looks like liquid is ice. What's in there?
딱정벌레.
It's a little
That's weird.
what?
It looks really compared to the beetles behind.
90.
Or little.
There's a bunch. It's mostly numbers. 9.
Or
There's mostly numbers.
Thirsty? Forensic.
That's an incredibly small. A cat.
Very
I was thinking.
medieval pirates. This place would never. Bugs.
Looks like they're made of metal.
Bugs.
Looks like they're made of metal.
Is it
Seems
locked?
likely, doesn't it? Weird looking.
I'm pretty
set.
sure the latch is.
오호. 아하. 그러게요. 좀 골치 아프긴 한데. 여기 일단은 여기에 연결할 수 있는 애가 얘밖에 없어요. 이건 무조건 맞고. 중간에 인터셉트 하려면 얘로 인터셉트를 해야 되고, 이어주려면 이런 식으로 이어줘야 되고, 이걸 조금 더 앞으로 뽑아서 이렇게 연결해 주는 게 맞을 거고요. 그 다음에 얘가 이렇게 됐으면 이걸 조금 더 위로. 그다음에 얘를 한번 끊어서 이런 식으로 얹어주고 이렇게 해주고 여기서 이렇게 해서
That's the
Hey,
one.
not bad. Anything is.
Yeah, more research.
연구 노트 및 도표가 든 폴더. 우리 고유의 동식물은 아직 알려지지 않은 수많은 화학물질의 부산물이다. 이 화학물질은 물속에 끊임없이 존재하며 구름을 형성하고 호수를 채운다. 이것은 식물과 동물의 다양한 돌연 변이를 일으킨다. 거미류, 곤충, 연체동물, 양서류 및 갑각류와 같은 작은 생물이 가장 큰 영향을 받는다. 그러다 화학물질은 먹이 사슬을 따라 올라가서 새와 파충류에게도 돌연 변이를 일으킬 수 있다. 우리가 아는 한 포유류는 완전히 영향권 외이다. 즉 인간한테 영향을 안 주고 얘네가 길러던 새 혹은 딱정벌레들한테 영향을 준다는 소리입니다.
Whose research is this? This is some seriously in-depth
잠깐만요.
research.
아까 하나, 두 개, 세 개,
That's
네 개, 다섯, 여섯,
impressive,
일곱 개
but
한
it's
그럼 한 네 번 더 해야
incomplete.
되는데 이걸?
There's a section missing.
이거겠지. 4번이니까 이게.
So, this is.
Definitely seems like he's the one using it.
I guess not a lot of people know about the secret entrance.
Right. But if Pointer's the only one who comes down here, why would he need to lock his research in a safe? Who's he hiding it from?
He's just paranoid, especially about his golden beetle.
What do you think he's trying to do?
펠릭스한테서
exactly?
숨기려는 거 아닐까?
Pointer has been trying to breed the golden beetle in the underground
왜냐면
laboratory.
펠릭스가 계속 돈에 대해
Why?
집착했잖아.
Because it's rare?
Because it's gold?
Is that it?
I think so. I don't think he cares about entomology any more than he cares about astronomy. He just wants to get one over on Felix. If he can breed his own gold, suddenly Poppy's inheritance is looking pretty,
Infinite. Might explain why he was so worried about losing the beetle. Maybe somebody did steal it.
might have been Freya after all. We know she was trying to get through the secret door in the garden.
She might not have known what was down here, though. Maybe she was just curious.
Curious, sure, but not naive. I reckon she
뭔가-
knew what was going on.
뭔가 일어나고
I
있는
think
걸
we're
알고
still
잡으려고 한
missing
건
the bigger picture. There's no way this is all just about a beetle. We're done.
Ready to go down again?
아, 더 아래가 있어?
A single
This
book.
is creepy.
Why?
I think it's a children's book.
하늘과 바다의 미스티드. 어디로 근처 매우 오래된 것 같다. 얼룩새, 하얗, 빨갛고 하얀 깃털의 우아한 새. 이거 플로라한테 줬던 그 새. 은뱀, 눈이 없고 대신 긴 혀를 가진 수생파충류. 이거고요. 영혼 전달. 영혼 전달자. 이거 그 프레야가 말한 그거. 각 크기가 다른 발을 같이 지켜가지고 양서고리. 이거는 그 하프키는 그거잖아.
It's an old coat
Two
rack.
cloaks. And a...
Old
How
cart-
exciting.
No,
They're
but-
also dead.
and empty.
How
Old,
exciting.
They're also
and
dead.
empty.
We're too late. This photograph.
Why?
Not sure. Some kind of metal stabbing thingy.
금속 맞대. 사진을 찔렀다. 뾰족하고 부러져 있다. 이거다. 살해 도구다. 이거 끈이 그거고 연결된 거. 우리 단서들 중에 이거로 연결돼 있었을 거고.
So what's the photo?
사진 속엔 한 소녀가 있다. 이거 플로라고. 새 연마리가 있다. 얘가 혹시 플로라의 아버지인가? 이 사람이?
Do you know who it is? There's a roll of paper.
I'll
Let
see.
me guess.
The rooftop. Well, that name makes a little more. It's the aviary, music room, storage,
That's Freya's.
a bedroom.
That's Fifi's room, isn't it?
그럼 이건 원래 플로라가 있는 여기는 원래 없었다는 거네?
Study. Wait,
I know what you're thinking.
how did we miss it?
A bedroom.
Penny's room, I think.
The grand.
What's that?
I think it's that big. The library.
숨겨진 연구실을 하나 찾았네요.
It's not
I
labeled.
think it already existed. It's the
The
room.
lab.
Yeah. This.
Agreed.
This man in the he reminds me of something from one of our clues.
That's not right. 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 That's not right.
아,
That's not right. That's not right.
가게도 높냐
That's
가게도?
not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right.
이거다.
Felix made a little model of him for Flora.
Yeah, it makes sense when you know who he is. Lord Remington.
Remington. That makes him Flora's father.
응.
Meaning the girl in the photo is...
Yeah, it's her. See the bird too.
I never would have guessed. Times sure do change.
I don't know. I don't think she
근데 이미
looks so
내려와서
different.
다시 올라가서 볼 수 있을 거야. 좀만 기다렸다가.
Alex,
They're also empty. Do these
Why?
but it's
Ah.
indoors.
I see your point.
Do these
Why?
but it's
Ah.
indoors.
I see your point.
Basement's
Or I must-
right. If that's
like what?
white, no plants. That's not what a lake looks.
Where are we?
Did you notice how much light this room has?
Mm.
For a room with one candle?
It's all coming through the window.
I'm pretty sure lakes are supposed to be darker at the bottom, not lighter.
Why is there a room down here anyway? And why is it so much older than the rest of Tangle Tower?
We still don't really know why people came to live here in the first place.
Maybe they just wanted to get rich, like Pointer with his
지금
beetles.
레밍턴
I
가게
feel like
자체가
the
이미
Remingtons came here for the lake.
호수
for
아래
what was
뭔가가
in
있었다.
it.
It's empty though. More empty than a normal lake would be.
It is now, yeah. Maybe we're too late.
그러니까 뭐가 있었다 이미.
Let's head. I want to find that last room.
여기죠.
Wow.
How long were we down there?
자, 잠깐만 친구들. 이것도 좋긴 한데 나 잠깐만 여기 한 번만 더 가자. 여기서 그래서 뭘 보고 싶으실 거예요? 뭘 좀 더 봤으면 좋겠는데? 다 클릭해본 것
I can
같은데.
barely tell what I'm looking. Rose of
What
black. It
color?
looks black, but it's
Is that allowed?
size small. I can barely tell what I'm looking. I can barely tell what I'm looking. Hand drawn entomology. Hand drawn entomology. I can barely tell what I'm looking.
Forensic and
That's an incredible.
what a
Any
mess.
idea what this is all about?
이거요?
Reminds
The one
me.
from-
Yeah. Is that a
No,
pig?
but it does.
What are those-
They're all mostly based.
Huh.
피피.
This looks
Didn't
like.
we see those
Fifi.
seams?
잠깐 이거 뭐 어떻게 가져갈 수
What a
없나?
mess.
Any idea what this is all about?
야 이거 기억 못 하는데. 기억 못 해도 되나?
The one from-
Yeah. Is that?
No,
what
but
are
they're all
those? Huh. This
Didn't
looks-
we see those seams?
아 이거 어디서 봤는지 기억해.
Let's not wander off right now. This.
How-
Hang on. I think there's a switch. A ladder.
Want to go up?
이제 숨겨진 실험실. 여기서 한번 끊죠. 이렇게. 마침 딱 중요한 데 가네요. 다음 주까지 기억해야 될 거는 페이피한테 가야 된다는 거. 왜냐면 방금 전에 찾았던 그 화학식이나 그 그림이 도표가 제 기억이 맞으면 페이피의 그 실험실에서 봤던 거야. 어. 여기서 끊도록 하겠습니다. 다음번에 또 이어서 가도록 할게요. 오케이. 여기서 끊어갑시다. 오케이. 잘했다. 괜찮았다. 단서도 많이 모았고 이제 거의 끝나가네요. 거의. 아마 1시간에서 1시간 반이면 끝날 것 같아. 분위기를 보아하니까 대충 이제 그림이 그려지죠. 레밍턴 가문이 먼저 무언가를 하고 있었고 그 호수에 있는 것 때문에. 근데 그 레밍턴 가문의 후손이었던 플로라와 이제 걔 누구야? 이름 까먹었다. 그냥 그쪽이랑 이제 포인터랑 펠로우 가문들이 얘네한테 이제 결혼을 대릴 사회 느낌으로 오게 되면서 이제 벌어지는. 뭐 아직 프레야가 도대체 왜 죽었는지도 모르고. 그리고 너무 웃겼던 게 영혼 전달자라는 그게 설마 걔 종족명일까 생각을 못했어. 아니 영혼 전달자라 그러길래 난 진짜 이제 막 이게 역전재판의 후유증 같은 건데 이제 영매 같은 게 나온다 생각을 했는데 그게 아니었네. 그렇군요. 어쨌건 그리고 저 이제 슬슬 뱅종하겠습니다. 이제 슬프게도 이제 현실로 돌아갈 때입니다. 화요일 날 퀴즈 있고 채점도 해야 되고 오늘 밤에도 회의 있고 이래가지고 이제 교수님한테 보고도 해야 될 거고 할 일이 많군요. 네. 그럼 저는 다음 주 토요일 방송으로 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 그 전에 방송을 킬 일이 아마 없을 거예요. 왜냐면 제가 다음 주 화요일에 시험이 있어가지고 그때까지 되게 바쁠 거거든요. 그래서 저는 그럼 이번 주 토요일에 가능한 한 어지간해서 정말 큰일이 아니면 오도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 여러분 다음 방송에서 봬요. 오늘 봐주셔서 감사하고 함께 해주셔서 감사합니다. 안녕.